Well, hello, everybody. My name is Sarah, and this is Pearls of Wisdom and Food with all about food, mostly about keto, some reflections on places that I've been in my food journey, but it comes back down to I'm back on keto, doing under 20 total carbs. It's working for me. Some days it's under 10 total carbs, but my what has happened with all the different things that I've done over the years is I've come to appreciate keto, doing it my style with my choices, and this is my journey. So if it's not working that way for you, that's okay, because we're all a wee bit different, right? So today in 2020, in August, I have gone back to keto. I went from Weight Watchers all the way to carnivore, strict, disciplined, no weighing, no measuring, still doing OMAD, eating to satiety, and seeing how that worked out. I was on it for like 8 to 10 months. It was an interesting journey. I will always be grateful for where it took me and what it taught me. And so now coming back to the keto, I can be nothing but grateful because I learned a lot about my body and my routines, my habits, my behaviors, and what works for me. So, how did this all happen? Well, I was listening to carnivore people before I went carnivore. I was listening to keto people while I was still doing low carb, high fat, but still kind of high carbs. I was listening to people always a step ahead of what I was doing to get to where I was before I pulled the lever. And so I listened to a lot of carnivore people, a lot of men, a lot of young, much younger women. They're even younger than my kids, doing carnivore and enjoying it. They were gooey about it. They loved it. They even wrote cookbooks and everything else. But, I was like, yeah, rah, rah, carnivore, but still felt like something was amiss. There wasn't that total contentment. There was satiety because I was eating a load of beef every day, but it wasn't as fun, exciting, easy peasy as it could be. I didn't have cravings. I didn't have triggers to go back, but I did. It's like a little seed inside of me was saying, veggies, you miss veggies. Now, I watched enough Elliot Overton and Sally Norton videos on oxalates to fully scare me about having them, but I still wanted to have a couple of veg. I began going back a wee bit keto with my baby butter lettuce, and sadly, that didn't work. But I introduced asparagus and it worked. I introduced zucchini, it worked. Yellow squash, green beans, and then the squash family of acorn squash, butternut squash, spaghetti squash. I even had a sweet potato. All of those things settled in nicely, and I cut back on the meat. I brought back out my kitchen scale. I went back to Chronometer and began to log what I was eating on a daily basis. And what happened was I wanted to lose the carnivore weight. I had put on weight. I had trusted what the younger women were saying, what all the men were saying. It's like, no, give it a chance. It'll go away. Your body's healing. Give it a chance. Well, my body was healing when I gave up sugar and grains. That's how I look at my body. My body was healing when I began to have the best veggies I could have, which were organic, the best meat that I could have, not always, grass-fed, grass, blah, blah, but good meat from the butcher, from, the Angus cuts in retail grocery stores. I did buy, I always bought the organic grass-fed burger, though, although I have the top sirloin burger on Fridays for my burger day. But, just buying organic items. Um, Another big factor in my journey was going from loaded coffees with fats and oils and Keto. I went from heavy whipping cream to Keto, Kitu, which is a very keto friendly creamer. And then I was using Xyla and erythritol, but I gave those up. So first I gave up the sweet, then I gave up the lightener, and now I'm having just black coffee, which is kind of cool for me. Always buying either Pete and Jerry. Now I like Eggland's organic eggs. I find they have a little more flavor than Pete and Jerry. Who knew? But they're organic. And enjoying that, buying the organic cheeses at Whole Foods. Just spending that little extra bit just to get a better quality for what I could do, can do, want to do. So I've begun to do all of this, but I'm ever grateful for doing the carnivore. Maybe it reset me. Maybe it did heal me. Maybe there were things that happened metabolically that, of course, I can't pinpoint. I'm not in a lab, in a locked-in lab where somebody brings me my food on a tray. But so keto slowly creeped back into my life, along with a lot of followers, and I'm loving it. And now I can, go to the stores and go to their organic section and get all excited. Yeah, I had an organic acorn squash with cubed, smoked, then grilled in butter pork and zucchini and yellow squash. I had that all mixed up, sprinkled with cinnamon, with butter added to it as my dish for my OMAD. It was divine, loved it. Haven't seen an organic acorn squash since. I can find the organic spaghetti and the organic butternut, but that one's kind of tough. But I'll live because fall is coming up when the squashes appear more frequently. So I like it, and it feels good. And I don't know about the oxalates and the things that I'm having. I'm not having spinach. I'm not having almonds. I'm not having almond milk. But because I know those are the heavy ones. But I'm enjoying what I'm having. My body likes it. I've been able to lose weight again. That was really frustrating to have that added on weight from what I thought was doing the right thing, following the leaders, and albeit half my age. But so I'm glad to be doing this. And some people think that veggies are just the fillers, and maybe they are, but it's helping me in losing weight. I have tons of energy. I do believe, like a lot of people, that an older body, an older person, an older metabolism might not need as much food as before. I don't need a 2,000 calorie a day diet to do it. I've listened to other people. I've seen the comments, older women having, pounds of meat still every day and being okay with it and walking 4 or 5 miles and having the joie de vivre and the contentment and the satiety. And that's great. I'm glad it's working for them that way. But what seems to work for me, after all is said and done, is my black coffee that Dr. Cyrus calls a bridge in between my OMAD. That's as far as I go with the fasting, that 23-24 hours. I have my one meal a day between 2 and 3 in the afternoon. So I have plenty of hours before I go to bed. It's not, right there. I get good solid sleep. I feel great. I'm back to Ubering and lifting, and it works for me. I always hope that the people that listen to me find their groove, when Stella got her groove back, and find what works for them and sticks to it, and doesn't feel that if they're not doing a copycat food plan, that they're not obeying, they're not compliant, they won't have success. And lots of people here have success. They can eat some fruit, more than just berries, on a frequent basis. And I think that that's great. Finding what works and having the whole picture. Like if at the end of the week, you've slept 5 to 7 nighs solid, no tossing and turning, no getting up to pee and then having that brain do the hamster roll thing. You know, if you find during the day that you've got tons of energy, I have a run out of energy. You know, when I get up, now that I'm Uber and lifting, it's 5 of 5 as I do this. I'll take a bath. I'll turn on my apps at like 5:45 to 6, and I'll do it. My car is clean from yesterday, inside and out. My gas tank is filled from yesterday. I've food prepped for today. We'll be doing the big green egg. So, excuse me, when I wake up between 3 and 4 in the morning, I've had 8+ hours of nice solid sleep. I'm able to do things. I've prepped, so no matter how busy my day is, like yesterday, I stopped at 11. I started at 6, and I was so busy because it was a Saturday. It was trip after trip after trip after trip. There was never a moment when I wasn't on my way to pick somebody up or with somebody in my vehicle. Everybody wears masks. I do a lot of disinfecting, so, and then I open up the windows in between rides. So I am doing it safe. The riders are compliant. But, you know, then by 11 o'clock, I was like, I still had, in my trip, it was funny because I kept driving by the bank I needed to go to, the dry cleaners I needed to go to, the gas station that I go to, which is BJ's. So I have a BJ's card, so I get, you know, more off. The bank, Stop and Shop. Anyway, there were 4 places, and I kept driving by them in my Uber trips where I was either on with somebody or on my way to get somebody, so I couldn't stop and do my errands. So it was kind of funny. And then finally at 11, I had been so busy. I had gone from Cape Cod is like this, and I had gone from here, which is Chatham, all the way over here to off the Cape and with riders, and it was so busy, I finally said, enough. I want to get my errands done. I know that I've done well. I'm tired. I want to get back home and get things ready, get the house set. I like to have things tidy. I'm not a clean freak. I'm a tidy freak. And so with my rituals and habits of food, house, food prep, and even the meals that I cook every week, I like to have things orderly. It helps. It helps here. And so I got home, and after doing all those little errands with the car, and the car was clean, and I vacuumed it, and I went to the car wash, and the blah, blah. So then I got all set. So when I got home, I could really unpack my day, because it takes a lot, getting the car clean on the inside, doing the mileage, doing all the stuff that I do, and then getting dinner ready. And so it just works out. My meal is already planned in my chronometer, and a lot of times the things are weighed and measured. I had chicken breast in the air fryer yesterday. I knew I was having a holy guacamole. I knew I was having some hot salsa. I knew I was having some of those big fat asparagus that I've run out of. I knew I was having that organic squash that I baked and then scraped out and then smushed with cinnamon. I knew I was having all of those items. I knew what Greg's meal was going to be. So I could come home and just put it together. So it really helps a lot for me. So then the rest of the day, you know, I could relax with Greg. We watched 2 full movies, you know, with our meal in the afternoon. And it was lovely. He was lovely. He was tired from fishing. I was tired from Ubering. And it was a great day. So today it's the same thing. I'm making the video. It's Big Green Egg Day, so I've got to prep asparagus, broccoli, Brussels. No, not Brussels. Brussels, no broccoli. Asparagus, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, Greg's potato. I'm still having a little bit of that Hubbard butternut squash. And yesterday I did some organic veg shopping at Stop and Shop. So I've got plenty of squash, plenty of zucchini. I already made some hot sausage, so that is going to be done for a future meal. I took the crack slaw out of the freezer to have tomorrow, so it's defrosting. things are good. The pork chops are out. They're going to be ready to go with the steak onto the big green egg along with the veggies. And I like it. It's just an orderly way that suits me. I don't approach my meals with like, I don't know what I'm going to have today, and then come up with nothing. And so order something that's not only not good for me and probably with seed oils, but probably has grains or sugars in it too. So, it's just it's to thine own self be true. It's taking care of yourself. It's knowing what you're going to have. That it's a totally soothing thing for me. And a lot of people like the seat of their pants type of, what they're going to have and how they're going to cook it. Not me. I like it nice and planned. And as long as I am able to do it, then I do it. And it just suits me. And the benefits of solid sleep and losing weight and having the biggest bang for the nutrition that I can have, I'm happy. I'm content. I'm satiated. That one meal a day was the best thing I ever did. And I always have Mike from Carnomad, formerly Keto Mad, to thank for that, because he was the one that was doing it. And we were doing the cowboy and the girly videos. And it was always an encouraging thing to hear, OMAD, OMAD. And when I did it, I reserved the right to go back to 2MAD if it didn't work, and I never looked back. After about 2 weeks, I kind of wondered how I ever did, the extra food. And but the journey had more components to it. And that's just how it rolls. So I'm delighted. I'm older. I didn't know I'd feel this way. And that's my excitement. So I'm so glad you're with me. I hope your journey is giving you information about you that, it's gold. You can't give it away. It's just to know your body and to know your head and to know what works is just so divine. It's just such a gift. And I hope you have it as well. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to the next time you're here and your comments. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.